The expected and beautiful collapse of Hollywood and Disney.
This year has been one of the worst for Hollywood that we've seen in a long time. Aside from
God.
a few obvious standouts, nearly every big budget film has fallen flat on its face. Whether it was yet another tired Marvel film desperately trying to justify its existence, or one of the many reboots like Indiana Jones that failed to restart their franchise.
Indiana Jones and the Diarrhea of Destiny. What a great movie. So inspiring, Slay Queen.
It begs the question, why do so many modern movies suck? With their massive budgets, their 1,000-strong production crews, you'd expect the opposite. But over the past 2 decades, the quality of blockbuster movies has fallen off a cliff. So, what went wrong? Well, this is a question that the big studios ask.
Oh man, She-Hulk is just... Man, there are some disasters. What do you think are the biggest disasters, by the way? She-Hulk, definitely on top. Lord of the Rings, also definitely on top. Secret Invasion, I don't know. I think either it has to be either Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, or She-Hulk. That has to be the worst. We're not counting the Marvels just yet, by the way, boys, but it's soon.
Asking themselves right now, as they're chucking endless amounts of cash at this problem. Modern movie budgets are the highest they've ever been. More and more money has been thrown at directors, letting them hire bigger.
Also, fun fact, they lie about their budgets. They always underplay them. We know that this is fact. Also, they do not count in marketing, which usually doubles the budget of the movie. Sometimes it doesn't, it kind of depends. But yeah, they lie about the budgets, they report them lower than they actually are, and then they do not include marketing in the budgets. Let that sink in.
Actors, more writers, and needing to revolution in visual effects. It seems like a simple fact that having more resources to realize your creative vision would make it better. But that's not the real reason studios have been doing this. Instead, as always, it's because of profits. Way back in 2009, as this trend for massive budgets was beginning to emerge, a research firm called SNL Kagan released a very interesting study looking at film budgets and how they relate to profits. By analyzing films released between 2004 and 2008, they found that breaching the $90 million mark for a film made it far more likely to do well at the box office. Mid-budget films, on the other hand, despite only costing half as much to make, were far riskier. And there were a few reasons for
this. Sounds like this sounds bad. Okay, so you need to understand. The more budget the film has, it's probably made by a bigger studio. It probably has bigger celebrities in it, which gives it the statistical higher chance of becoming big. Small budget films are gonna make less profits, obviously, because, well, they're less. They don't have the actors, they don't have the things. Because actors are not just willy-nilly applying for every movie possible if they're not desperate. And the good actors that everyone knows, they're definitely not applying for the low-budget movies most of the times. Unless they're all Keanu Reeves. But not everyone is Keanu Reeves, sadly.
For this. With massive blockbusters, audiences knew they were going to see a big spectacle that was well worth the ticket fee. They also had enough of a marketing budget to make sure everybody knew about it. More as the studios probably weren't basing their decisions on this study alone, they were working with the same data. And so soon enough, the big 5 movie studios were focused almost solely on big budget films, whilst the flow of medium-sized films has dried up. And this led to a few massive problems. You would think that more money would always help a film, but in the end, too many cooks spoil the...
Bruh, no amount of money is gonna make King even remotely close to an actual real villain, okay? Ezra Miller in The Flash is more of a villain than him. No, seriously, that guy's messed up. Do not cross him.
Broth. Only the most controlling and demanding directors could resist the opinions of so many different people trying to apply their own ideas to the movie. It was made way worse by the studios micromanaging every single aspect of their films to suit their focus groups. And so the...
Your boss actually cares about what you're doing? I hate it when we call that all blatantly bad, okay? Let's name names here, okay? It's Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy destroyed a lot of things. Kathleen Kennedy, by the way, is exactly responsible for this crap. Because from a video that I did a while ago now, I covered this. Kathleen Kennedy actually has a strangleton on everyone who works in CGI. And she doesn't pick people who are good in actual CGI. She picks people who just know how to lick it real good to promote and being good at CGI. And her influence there is so great that she can actually get you blacklisted from working even in other companies if she says you're bad. Because because Kathleen Kennedy kind of just owns this stuff. It's crazy. Okay? Let's name names. Kathleen Kennedy.
Creativity fell apart, and a final reason for the shift to spectacle was just that these kinds of films play way better to now massive Chinese audiences. The loss of the mid-budget films was just as bad, if it's just one big CGI fight anyway, but this isn't true for lower budget films with more than a few pages of dialogue that aren't just witty quips. Tons of the best movies of the past few decades, like The Truman Show, Good Will Hunting, or The Shawshank Redemption, came from
Truman Show is really good.
Small to medium budgets. For every $200 million reboot or sequel, we lose 10 potential masterpieces. And despite seemingly having more limitations, mid-sized films have so much more freedom to actually explore something new and bold. One director and a small team of writers working with actors who are trying to prove themselves can make a much more cohesive product than 100 writers and 10,000 CGI artists. People new to the business used to be able to move their careers.
And by the way, I understand that for some this sounds like completely blatantly insane. Like, how can you do this? Well, you see, when you're rich, when you have multiple hundreds of millions in your bank account or billions, your biggest problem in life is not actually getting more money. It's preventing losses. It's making sure that nothing random happens and you just magically lose money. And this is what hedge funds do, for example, okay? Hedge funds don't perform above the S&P because they care mostly about actually preventing losses and, huge black swan event type of things from happening and destroying someone's wealth. That's what they actually do. They're not purely for profit. They're for prevention of losses. And since Hollywood is literally in the billions, the same goes for them. They don't want to risk putting in $500 million into something new when they can put in less than $500 million into something old that they know will at least sell an X amount. Admittedly, that still has not helped, especially Disney, because they have already lost $2.3 billion this year. But just small tidbits.
Forward with these films, they gave new actors, writers, and directors a chance to make a name for themselves. Today, these ideas are pushed into Netflix shows instead, which pad out their stories into multiple seasons and lose all the impact a simple 90-minute film would have had. Today, we're
but Netflix is also shit, though.
Seeing the results of the shift. People have gotten tired of the green screen spectacle. It simply isn't enough to guarantee profits. And you can tell the studios have been getting nervous about this for a while. It's why they've been relying more and more on reboots and sequels. As long as a franchise was successful once, they'll be happy to dig up its corpse and tell the same story again. And this trend of studios relying more and more on sequels and reboots has become ever more prominent over the last couple of decades, driven largely by the commercial appeal of capitalizing on established franchises, which comes with a ready-made audience and hence a lower financial risk. However, this approach has...
See? Exactly what essentially I said, only in a slightly different language, where I try to explain so everyone understands. It's not rocket science. It's actually pretty well understood and known for people who understand money.
Led to what we see today, the most boring, mundane, mind-numbing movies made to make a profit.
Oh, The Little Mermaid,
I want to talk about a video sponsor. Have you ever Googled yourself?
Oh yeah, Aura, I remember you. It's like finding a windmill and completely useless. Don't.
/moon to start your 2-week free trial. We'll also link down in the description below. You see, back a few decades ago, the success of original films often lied in the novelty, the fresh narrative, and unique storytelling techniques they bring to the table. Original films have the liberty to explore uncharted territories of narrative themes, character dynamics, and visual storytelling, which often resonates with audiences seeking new experiences and messages, creating...
I mean, this is true, but you can still do exactly that in the modern day, okay? No one's preventing you from trying to make something new and original.
Intrigue, engagement, allowing a deeper connection to the narrative and the characters within it. On the other hand, the mass production of sequels and reboots just cheapens this connection, rehashing the same old themes time and time again, without ever advancing the narrative or character arcs, which can lead to a very stale viewing experience. And this is coming from these big studios' desire to play it safe and cater to established fan bases while pandering to political narratives.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
They're not actually pandering to audiences, by the way. Everyone in Hollywood is like this. They're just making relatable stuff. But they think it's relatable because they don't understand not everyone else is not a filthy degenerate.
Prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
And we can
Why not? True love's awesome. I'd give a lot away for that.
see this with the most recent sequels. Indiana Jones, for example. The original trilogy was lauded for the thrilling adventures and the charismatic performance of Harrison Ford, creating a balance between action, humor, and storytelling, making you want to explore the world, see new things, touching the hearts and minds of generations around the world. And then you compare these groundbreaking films to the most recent Indiana Jones films, and you can see this huge difference. All the new Indiana Jones films lacks any actual storytelling. Harrison Ford's old and tired, he doesn't care about the movies anymore. It feels forced now to play.
No, it's not the fact that he's old and tired and feels like that, even though that's a big deal. It's also the fact that he's stupid, incapable, and there's like the bestest women ever that can do everything instantaneously without any trials or tribulations and achieve everything because they're the bestest ever. Okay? Let's not forget that part. That's kind of big important, honestly.
And the over-reliance on CGI, as opposed to practical effects, makes this whole thing feel like child's play. Another example is The Thing. The original Thing was groundbreaking in its use of practical effects to create a sense of horror and intrigue. The tight, suspenseful narrative, coupled with the claustrophobic setting and the psychological tension among the characters made it.
This is true. Dude, the green screen is nice and whatnot, but man, making good practical effects is just another level compared to the green screen. Jurassic Park, Lord of the Rings, the original ones, okay? And The Thing. Those are the three biggest examples of where practical effects were done so good. It's just, a green screen can't compete with that, sadly.
A horror classic. Its innovative portrayal of an alien entity and the underlying theme of paranoia stuck with audiences for years, whereas the most recent The Thing was just a complete failure. There was hardly any dread or suspense, again over-relying on CGI over practical effects, with an incredibly bland story, rendering this film just a hollow cash cow. And of course, not to mention Star Wars. The original Star Wars films were groundbreaking, amazing character development, extremely interesting adventures, huge innovation, groundbreaking special effects, setting a huge precedent in Hollywood, changing the entire movie industry. And yet the most recent Disney woke flops over-rely on boring CGI, boring scripts, inconsistent character arcs, and hollow virtue signaling pandering. Just like Ghostbusters, where the original film was watched for decades, and yet the reboots are just feminist garbage, completely flopping at the box office. Just trying to rely on.
Oh man, but we see this and we. Dude, every film, every movie, every film, everything just that flops like this has the exact same writing. By the way, here's a powerful woman that resembles more a man than an average man, and then there's some kind of stupid man that is incapable and needs to be constantly saved by them. They know everything, they can't fail at anything, they have the solutions, and everything revolves around them. It's boring, it's stupid, it's unbelievable.
And the nostalgia of the past, whilst ruining the reputation of the original Ghostbusters movie. But it's not just reboots that's destroying modern movie making. One huge aspect is the shift in audience attention spans, which has been decimated by social media platforms and technology. Hardly any audiences today could ever sit through a movie from the 60s. It'd be almost impossible to get through for most people, where dialogue was the drive.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's a movie from the 60s. That is way different from modern days, though.
Force of storytelling. But these long, slow-burning movies with intriguing dialogue was what made the message of the film so powerful. But now today, movie studios are just bidding to cater to the lowest common denominator, the TikTok Subway Surfers crowd, making movies as fast-paced as possible, often at the expense of storytelling depth, character motivations, overall messaging, and nuanced unfolding of the plot. It's this fast-paced, fast food style movies that's making the message of these movies so watered down.
No. Wait a minute. This is not even actually all true. For example, Mulan. Mulan's scene where she actually trains and stuff, it's not half the movie. I don't even think it's more than 2 minutes in total, that, thing where she actually trains and tries to become the best and becomes good at stuff, right? But the thing, and that's like only, what again, 2 minutes of the whole movie, honestly? Modern movies just don't do it at all. They lack it to begin with. They don't have that. The characters are already pre-developed, and they demand that you already are like, yes, Rey Palpatine is the greatest hero ever. Rey is the bestest girl. It makes sense that she can do everything any other character with hundreds of years of experience and training can do in an instant. It all makes sense. No, it doesn't. They don't even do that. They don't even put in a 2 minute Rocky music compilation of her getting stronger. She's just the best, and we're asked to swallow that.
Down. Martin Scorsese, one of the greatest directors in history, claimed that these modern movies are like theme park rides when he referred to Marvel films rather than traditional cinema, encapsulating this broader industry sentiment, as Scorsese's comments hit at a concerning point that the essence of cinema is being overshadowed by a pursuit of adrenaline-fueled spectacles, nothing else. Explosions over meaning, doing everything they can to maximize the dopamine in their audience over life-changing messages. And it's this shift in narrative focus and storytelling pace that's emblematic of a larger trend about the commercialization of the cinematic space. And it's this tilt towards high-octane action and fast pacing for a mind-numb consumer jellyfish audience marks this dystopian trend of pandering to the dumbest among us, ultimately driven by the greed of a monopolized Hollywood industry. But is it really just this move to action-packed, watered-down remakes that makes modern movies so bad? If only. The ideological infringement of modern movies is one of the key drivers ruining modern movies today, and we see this everywhere with the hollow cliche of the strong female character. The term strong female character has become ubiquitous in the entertainment industry, used by writers, actors, directors, and marketing departments alike. However, its overuse has rendered it meaningless.
Oh my god, they're just gonna start crying about the fact you're just a bigot because you don't like my badly developed character because she's just female. No, I don't like her because she doesn't have a soul. That's why I don't like her. Like, again, we also live in a dystopia where, what's her face that did the Hunger Games? That one. She literally had the audacity to unironically say in an interview, yeah, I was the first action female superstar ever. Like, they're insane, okay? They're also just insane.
And so corporate, transforming it into a mere buzzword
Jennifer
devoid of
Lawrence.
substance.
There we
In
go.
fact, Emily Blunt, a renowned female actress, actually expressed a disdain for this term, highlighting how it often results in stoic, unrelatable characters that are just so boring to watch.
I don't know who Emily Blunt is. I literally do not judge a single movie based on which actor is in it. I don't care, okay? Because the actors, yeah, even if they're good actors, they're not gonna save a horrible piece of shit. So I do not care about actors. I don't know their names. I don't know which movies they were in. I fundamentally do not care, because fundamentally this way of me watching movies has never actually let me down. Okay?
And you just need to look at the Marvels to see what she means. The strong female character in all modern movies is presented as supremely competent, rarely facing any actual challenges.
Oi, don't touch my waifu. What's her name? I forgot. Captain Marvel. Brie Larson. Don't touch my wife.
Or setbacks, and almost never allowed to
She
fail.
doesn't know that she's my wife, but one day.
It's just an excuse for movie studios to virtue signal for ESG points, to get more investment money from the big names like BlackRock, and make their brand look squeaky clean, completely ignoring the fact that nobody wants to watch it. And why would they? Strong female characters are often depicted as having everything they need to succeed from the outset, requiring the world to change around them rather than undergoing personal development, which not only sends an unrealistic message to audiences, but also results in poor writing. Characters like Captain Marvel, who achieve their full potential by simply casting off external limitations, exemplifies this trend, leaving audiences.
That's so stupid, by the way. Dude, they failed everything with her, okay? Captain Marvel is like the perfect example of a character assassination. It's glorious, honestly.
With very little to empathize with, as the character's victory is always assured from the beginning. But that's not the only thing that's unrealistic. Female characters are always physically equal to their male counterparts in movies, which results in these unbelievable and kind of...
Yeah, unless it's done wrongly. For example, I actually use this as an example always. This is from an Avengers movie. One of the early ones, I don't remember which one. But here, yeah, Black Widow is taking out a bunch of quads. And okay, let's not pretend that any one of us ever remembers the fact that she's also actually modified to be stronger than an average man. She's below Captain America in the modification of strength, but she can arm wrestle any dude technically without any problems. She's modified. But even in this scene right here, she's not taking the dudes out with just, going up to them, punching them in the face, and then they just fly 50 meters back into a wall and create a hole. No. She's actually using gadgets, she's shooting guns, and she's using speed and athleticism to actually overcome these people. She's not just punching anyone randomly in the face and they're like instantaneously collapsing. What she does is sellable. Okay? So no one complains about this because it's believable. And again, she technically could just go and punch these people without any problem because again, she has super strength to a certain degree. She is way stronger than any dude there, but you don't see it because she wins through different means. And this is why no one complained about Black Widow at the start of the Avengers. Because this is completely fine.
Results in these unbelievable and kind of cringeworthy fight scenes where nobody even believes what they're watching.
Yeah, look at that. She outsmarts them, does some kind of wuju juju, and gets a piece of wire around his neck. Bro, if a woman has a piece of wire around your neck, you're not winning that one. She just needs to pull. It doesn't matter. You're still kind of fucked. Okay? It's not. See? It works because it makes sense.
And this focus on physical strength as a measure of a character's worth is not only unrealistic, but also misses the point of what truly makes a character strong. True strength lies in its character's resilience, bravery, and determination, not their physical prowess. Just look at films like The Truman Show, or characters like Ewan from Lord of the Rings, who stands up to formidable enemies despite being physically outmatched.
Also, how many of you thought that this scene was cringe? No one! No one! Everything was fine. And she didn't win because she was the bestest ever. She halfway won this fight in the movie because of the Witch King's hubris. It was decent. It was believable. Bam. Why do we not complain about these things, though? If we're all so evil, right?
And by ignoring this, these main roles are completely stripped of their emotional complexity and vulnerability, completely devoid of any actual femininity, making these movies completely inauthentic and just unwatchable. Audiences can sense that something's amiss, and that's why everybody hates these modern movies. And in reverse, male characters that were once depicted as stoic, reserved, and emotionally controlled have now transformed into emotional crybabies, lacking any self-assurance. And this not only deviates from realistic male behavior, but also completely diminishes the appeal of male characters, making them less
It's Biber Harger or Open Barbie.
relatable and aspirational, all in the name of their woke ideology, deconstructing once revered male heroes into shadows of their former selves, all for the benefit of a select few investment firms, with iconic characters.
This problem is actually also bigger. They're not just deconstructing the previously established characters, they're literally assassinating them. It's like Anakin and the new Skywalker, blah blah blah, whatever you want to call that garbage. He's just made to be pathetic. He's just a laughing stock. He's pathetic. He's unlikable. He's nothing what you remember from him. He is a former shell of himself who literally tells the main character, "You're already amazing. What can I even teach you?" There's a lot of problems in that.
Like Luke Skywalker and Rocky being stripped of their heroic qualities, leaving audiences with a tainted legacy, reflecting the trend of Hollywood to deliberately attempt to undermine positive male role models, eroding the admiration and inspiration they once provided, and instead serving them a cold-hearted, plastic, fake, warped vision of the world. That's why.
True. Is this actually the end of the video? Because this is a Moon video. They kind of end actually roughly about 10% into the halfway mark. But if you want to watch the full video, I guess you can just do it because it's Moon. Great channel. Does a lot of good stuff. This is for a different day. Anyway, this was Quizzer Sid saying thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye bye.